Tonight, a warning from doctors amidst a spike in sick kids.
It makes me a little nervous to see what's going to happen if they're getting hit this hard, this soon.
RSV, COVID, flu, why hospitals are already bracing, and advice for the months ahead. CBC News has learned the finance minister is about to promise billions for housing.
We know we need to build and build by the millions.
Plus, Rosie's here with why the political stakes are so high. And it could be the first offshore wind farm of its kind in Canada. We break down the promises and the pushback.
It's goodbye, fisherman. Hello, windmills.
This is The National with Chief Correspondent Adrian Arsenault.
Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with an urgent message from doctors in this country. They are seeing a spike in sick kids and fear this could be just the beginning. There are signs the so-called triple threat of respiratory viruses is here. That's COVID is circulating, the flu is picking up, but it's RSV that has doctors particularly worried and hospitals bracing. Lauren Pelly starts us off tonight with what they're seeing in clinics and the advice for parents.
That's one of the worst coughs Jamie Stein says her 4-year-old son has ever had. Respiratory viruses are already spreading through his school.
You can hear the coughs, you could hear the sneezes, you can hear what both of my kids have pretty much throughout most of the classrooms.
Stein's not sure which virus it was, but she does know her whole family got hit.
My daughter's still sick. My in-laws, we live with them here. They're older and they are also sick from my kids, and my husband also has a pretty bad cough.
This Toronto pediatrician says hospitals are also getting busier thanks to multiple types of viruses, including one threat in particular.
In the last couple of weeks, the respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, has just shot up.
That virus surged after COVID restrictions were lifted, and infections can turn serious.
We're bracing for another winter like last winter, where a number of kids needed to be hospitalized with RSV. We're certainly hoping not to see that again this year, but that's what we're preparing for.
The latest countrywide data shows COVID levels are stable and flu is ticking up, while RSV is already above expected levels for this time of year. That's putting pressure on healthcare teams.
Our baseline is about 300 visits a day, and now in the past few weeks we've bumped up to 400 patients a day.
Physicians also worry about RSV spreading from younger populations to vulnerable seniors.
We're seeing some RSV outbreaks in long-term care facilities, although compared to COVID-19, they are way, way, way down. But again, what will happen in the next month or two is hard to predict.
Stein says her family usually doesn't get sick this early in the season.
So it makes me a little nervous to see what's going to happen if they're getting hit this hard, this soon, and it's not even that cold out yet.
And so, Lauren, to that point, given how early it is, what's the advice you're hearing from doctors about what's coming?
Well, they're paying attention to the fact that people are going to be gathering more. We have the holidays approaching. So in light of all of that, you can start taking precautions now. And the advice I keep hearing is consider getting vaccinated. Across the country, you can get a COVID shot, you can get a flu shot. And this year, Health Canada has actually approved an RSV vaccine specifically for people 60 years of age and up. So lots more options this year.
All right, Lauren Pelly, thank you.
Thank you.
In just hours now, the finance minister will give a snapshot of this country's finances, and CBC News has learned it will come with the promise of billions of dollars to help address the housing crisis. Karina Roman now with what else we can expect.
Amid Canada's worsening housing and affordability crisis and growing criticism it's not doing enough to solve it, CBC News has learned Ottawa will commit billions to bringing relief in Tuesday's fall fiscal economic statement.
We are here for Canadians.
A senior government source not authorized to speak publicly says among the big promises tomorrow, expect $15 billion in loans to build new rental housing units, a $1 billion fund to build affordable housing, and new tax rules meant to curb short-term rentals in favor of long-term tenants.
My sense is if there's tens of thousands of units that we can turn into not a competitor for a hotel or for a few nights, but a home for a family and a community, it's incumbent upon us to do everything we can to use the properties that are available for homes.
Even before the announcement, the opposition argues the Prime Minister can't deliver.
He will come out here and he will make billions of dollars of housing promises, just like he did 8 years ago. And what will that do? It'll build bureaucracy.
For its part, the NDP wants more money for social housing and tougher competition laws for the grocery sector.
So are these initiatives that we're going to see in the fall economic statement, or are Canadians going to be left waiting again?
Critics, worried about the deficit, say now is not the time for new spending, but to protect existing social programs and services.
I just think, again, the more imprudent you are, the more difficult you put yourself in a situation where you're going to have to cut programs or raise taxes at one point. It's just pure math.
But with high interest rates, slow growth, and constant pressure to spend more from the NDP, whose support the Liberals rely on, the chances of a government plan to balance the books are slim. Karina Roman, CBC News, Ottawa.
So this is a good time to bring in Chief Political Correspondent Rosie Barton. It's always a good time. So Rosie, how challenging is this moment for the government?
There are a lot of pressures, Adrienne, coming from different corners at a time when, frankly, economic growth is not exactly through the roof. The deficit expected to be higher than it was in the spring, and those high interest rates are also affecting the government's debt and their debt payments. And the pressure to spend, as Karina laid out there, is real. If the Liberals want to avoid an election, they need to keep the NDP on side, which means more spending on housing and affordability measures. And after months of the Conservatives really successfully hammering the government for not doing enough to help Canadians, polls suggest the Liberals are in some trouble. And addressing some of that criticism is also part of what we need to see tomorrow, I think.
And so then what else should we be watching for?
Listen, the government is going to try to demonstrate it knows how to make choices, because not everything can get funding, of course. So beyond housing and affordability, probably a few things there to fight climate change, but I wouldn't expect much more than that. This update has to show the Liberals know what fiscal restraint means and they can actually practice it. And as the Governor of the Bank of Canada warned last month, governments need to start rowing in the same direction to fight inflation. In other words, not spend with abandon.
All right. Rosie Barton in Ottawa. Thank you.
Thanks, Adrienne.
So Rosie will anchor our special live coverage starting at 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow on CBC News Network. And then, of course, she'll be right here tomorrow night for a special edition of At Issue. The federal government now says it will change the law within months to strip the Canadian military of its power to investigate sexual offenses. Those cases were already supposed to have been moved to the civilian system. But CBC News learned half of them were not. Ashley Burke explains.
Retired Major Sonia Rogers says she didn't get the justice she deserves.
I don't believe the military justice system should be responsible for any crimes.
She wishes she could have transferred her sexual assault case to civilian authorities. She says military police had recommended charges, but military prosecutors threw her case out.
Any criminal code violations that are prosecuted in the military will always be looked at first through the lens of protecting the institution.
Now the Minister of Defense says the law will change soon to strip the military of its power to investigate and prosecute sexual offense cases.
In the coming months and hopefully before the end of this year.
I see no basis.
Retired Supreme Court Justice Louise Arbour recommended that change more than a year ago.
What's happening in the military system is not sustainable.
Since then, the government agreed the military would transfer all those cases to civilian police. But CBC News has learned it kept about half, more than 120 cases. The Canadian Forces says we do look to transfer files whenever possible, but we do ensure still that we are keeping a victim-centered approach. That approach means military investigators ask victims if they want to transfer their cases or not.
Is it in the spirit of what the government intended for half of the cases to still be investigated by military police?
And the answer to that is I don't believe it is.
Rogers says victims shouldn't have to make that choice.
There's no way for someone having just experienced a trauma to have all of the information that they should need to make the decision of whether to go with the military or the civilian side.
In her final report, Arbour said that choice would put an unrealistic burden on the victim. She said it's not in the public interest, and even in the interim, it should not be happening. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
A group of Canadian MPs is in Israel tonight on a trip to show solidarity with people there as the war between Israel and Hamas rages on. The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says more than 13,000 Palestinians have now died in the fighting, and another Gaza hospital is getting caught in the crossfire. Dozens of premature babies, meanwhile, have now left Gaza to be treated in Egypt. Briar Stewart shows us their journey and the war they leave behind.
In each of these incubators, fragile, tiny lives. The babies are sick and emaciated, born prematurely, and even more vulnerable because during those first crucial weeks, they were surrounded by war. They evacuated first to southern Gaza from the embattled Al-Shifa hospital in the north. On Monday, two were reunited with their mother. Today was the first time I was able to see my daughters 39 days after I gave birth, she says. The feelings of fear and worry in my emotional state was very difficult. The twins were among the 28 babies then evacuated to Egypt. A freelance journalist working for CBC News took this video as they left to receive urgent care.
They have a long road to go. It'll take a long time for many of them to recover, given their current condition. But we do understand they're getting very good care at this time.
But still in Gaza, hundreds of other patients remain trapped by war. The Hamas-run health ministry says 12 people were killed during fighting at another hospital in the north, where Israeli tanks are stationed. Israel's defense forces says troops fired back at militants in the complex of the Indonesian hospital while trying to minimize harm to civilians. They also released a video of what they say shows a weapons lab under a Gaza mosque. Hundreds of thousands of people have fled the north.
This is the center of Gaza City.
Like Youssef Hamash, he fled to the south and now fears he needs to take his family closer to the Egyptian border.
If they keep pushing us and did the scenario of what's happening in Gaza City and the north, it's going to be the apocalypse.
Israeli forces created another temporary corridor for people to evacuate from Gaza City. As they did in the background, our freelancer captured this, what appears to be a group of blindfolded men. Israel says it's interrogating more than 300 fighters they've apprehended so far, and others who were captured during the October 7th attack. On Monday, as Israeli lawmakers debated reintroducing the death penalty for convicted Palestinian militants, family members of the hostages pleaded for them to not do anything that would further endanger their loved ones. Instead of talking about death, which is the most frequent word in this discussion, talk about life. 239 living hostages.
Tonight, family members of the hostages met with the Prime Minister along with his war cabinet, and some of them said they were disappointed because they didn't receive any new information, considering that officials, including the U.S. President, has said that a deal is close.
And so, Briar, a delegation of Canadians is in Israel right now on a trip to show some solidarity. I gather you met up with some of them.
Yeah, and that delegation includes 5 MPs, 3 Conservatives and 2 Liberals, and part of their itinerary is hearing from survivors from the October 7th attack. I asked them what they thought of the increasing calls by some leaders and humanitarian organizations for a ceasefire.
There was a ceasefire on October 6th, and Israel, again, has that right and obligation to defend herself.
You obviously want to minimize civilian casualties, but I very strongly believe that Israel feels and is right for the world, for the Palestinians, and for the Israelis that Hamas needs to go.
Besides the MPs, the delegation includes leaders from Canada's Jewish community.
All right, thank you. That's Briar Stewart in Jerusalem tonight. Truck by truck, supplies to build a new Jordanian field hospital crossed into Gaza today. It is desperately needed as the health system there collapses. The hospital will be set up in Han Yunis in southern Gaza with 41 beds and 2 operating theaters. The goal is to have it up and running in 48 hours. As the war in Ukraine drags on, a surprise visit today from the U.S. Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin.
The message that I bring you today, Mr. President, is that the United States of America is with you. We will remain with you for the long haul.
He took with him a new commitment to $100 million more in weapons for Ukraine, including munitions for air defense systems. There's a sobering new warning tonight from the United Nations. Temperatures are rising and we aren't doing enough to stop it. A new report says even if countries keep their current emissions pledges, the Earth is on track to warm nearly 3 degrees above pre-industrial levels by the end of the century. So this comes ahead of next week's UN climate change conference. Renee Filipponi now with the urgent calls for action and why there is still hope.
The report shows that the emissions gap is more like an emissions canyon.
A warning from the UN Secretary General in the lead-up to COP28, the International Climate Summit in Dubai.
We must reverse course. And as we have seen in this report, the crucial aspect is the addiction to fossil fuels.
The annual emissions gap report says if more action isn't taken to lower emissions, the world could blow past the 1.5-degree warming target agreed to in Paris in 2015.
What we need to see at the COP is a massive, expedited move forward on decarbonization.
This year saw record-breaking temperatures, with 2023 on track to be the hottest year ever recorded for the planet. In Canada, destructive wildfires led to mass evacuations, as other parts of the country managed serious drought.
This is with the world being at about 1.2 degrees of warming. Imagine what it's going to be like with 2.5 degrees of warming, right?
However, this climate expert says there is room for optimism.
10 years ago, the world scientists would have told you we were on pace for 4 degrees or more of warming. The current report says our current policies can hopefully get us to 3 degrees of warming.
But the federal government is getting pushback on some of its key measures to fight climate change, including the carbon tax and net zero plans.
And I think we're getting there slowly when you see the progress that has been made. But we could do so much more if we work together.
Representatives from nearly 200 countries will be arriving in Dubai later this month. A moment for leaders to take stock of what they have achieved and how they will address the major challenges ahead in the fight against climate change. Renee Filipponi, CBC News, Vancouver.
Ottawa says it will appeal a federal court ruling that put the ban on single-use plastics in jeopardy. The ruling said the government overstepped in calling all plastics toxic. That essentially quashed the cabinet order underpinning the ban. Ottawa says it will fight the ruling as part of its effort to reduce plastic pollution. Police near Toronto are investigating a brazen robbery caught on video.
The first thing that went through my mind is I gotta lock these guys inside.
The moment the thieves made a getaway using an axe. Next. Plus, a big shakeup in the tech industry.
It probably may have stemmed from a disagreement around the commercialization.
What Sam Altman's firing and hiring means for the future of artificial intelligence. And later, witnessing an epic ocean brawl off the BC coast.
It's the ultimate battle between predator and prey.
An octopus and a sea lion throwdown. Tentacles versus teeth. We're back in 2.
You can always find The National, our award-winning CBC News journalism and breaking news anytime. On the free CBC News app, cbcnews.ca, on CBC Gem, and on our YouTube channel.
Security cameras captured a dramatic daylight robbery at a clothing store west of Toronto. You can see the owner unlocking the door to let one person in when multiple others force their way in too before grabbing merchandise off the racks. Outnumbered and overwhelmed, the owner had to think pretty quickly.
The first thing that went through my mind is I gotta lock these guys inside, right? It's 4 against 1. I'm not gonna get hurt over some clothes.
Realizing they were trapped, the thieves smashed the front window with an axe, then climbed out with piles of clothing. Police are now investigating. A leading company in the world of artificial intelligence is in turmoil tonight. Its employees are threatening to leave. Its investors want answers after its CEO was suddenly fired on Friday. Nisha Patel now with the chaos at OpenAI.
Sam Altman is a leading figure in artificial intelligence and the face of the groundbreaking technology ChatGPT, with 100 million users worldwide.
As intelligence gets integrated everywhere, we will all have superpowers on demand.
So his firing sent shockwaves through Silicon Valley. OpenAI's board said it no longer had confidence in his leadership. The decision sparked an uproar among employees. Hundreds threatened to quit. unless Altman was reinstated.
OpenAI was initially founded as a nonprofit company.
While there are few details about what led to all of this analyst points to reports that the board's mission to develop AI safely clashed with Altman's push for rapid innovation.
It probably may have stemmed from a disagreement around the commercialization.
The turmoil inside OpenAI especially concerning for the many companies that rely on its technology.
This is a very, very pivotal company. They're building a very key piece of infrastructure technology, and we're very concerned.
Altman's firing also appeared to blindside Microsoft, a major investor that's poured billions into OpenAI. Microsoft's CEO moved quickly to hire Altman to head a new AI team there.
The question we're facing about how is AI going to be developed and who's deciding what directions AI is going.
Experts say this far-reaching technology needs broader oversight.
We need to be making sure that it's actually not something that's exclusively driven by corporate incentives.
Some investors are reportedly threatening to sue OpenAI, pushing for Altman's reinstatement. Altman hasn't spoken publicly, though he did post on social media that the mission continues. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
A Montreal gallery is facing charges for allegedly selling sculptures carved from the parts of marine mammals.
Being an artist, you're living pretty much on a piece-to-piece situation.
The Inuit artists who say the law is hurting their livelihoods. Plus, a massive green energy project and fears about its impact on a vital Atlantic Canada industry.
It's goodbye, fisherman. Hello, windmills.
Why some say it is moving far too fast.
How have you been doing, Sally?
Plus, a boundary-pushing CBC series coming to an end.
It meant a lot to play this character and to tell this story.
The legacy sort of leaves behind. The National breaks down the stories shaping our world. Next.
The Dragons are ready to play. Here comes the pitch.
$300,000 in exchange for 10%.
I'll give you $1 million for 20%.
Incredible! A home run! What a night it's been in the den.
They're relentless! It's starting to feel extremely targeted!
That one really likes you!
Animal Control. Watch all episodes now.
The Dragons are ready to play. Here comes the pitch.
$300,000 in exchange for 10%.
I'll give you $1 million for 20%.
Incredible! A home run! What a night it's been in the den.
About That with Andrew Chang every weekday on CBC News Explore. Stream free.
Some pretty hairy moments this weekend along a busy highway north of Toronto. Police struggling to corral an escaped llama. It's not at all clear how that llama got there, but eventually officers were able to safely rein it in before returning it to its owners. A Montreal gallery that sells Inuit art is facing charges for allegedly selling pieces made from whales and other marine animals. Pieces a buyer tried to take into the U.S. As Matthew Lapierre tells us, some Inuit artists say strict export rules are hurting them.
Ruben Anton Kamangapik plans to carve this 1,200-pound whale skull into an ornate sculpture. But he may never be able to sell it. The whale bone he's carving is protected by an international treaty called CITES, which restricts the sale of art made from certain marine mammals. That means it's hard, sometimes even impossible, to export.
It's really difficult because being an artist, you're living pretty much on a piece-to-piece situation.
But 2 years ago, an American doctor tried to get around that when he was caught trying to cross the border with statues made of walrus tusk and sperm whale teeth, items that can't be brought into the U.S. The doctor even went as far as asking the Montreal Art Gallery where he bought the art to fake documents. He ended up paying a $50,000 fine for breaking the rules. The gallery is now facing charges of illegally selling sperm whale teeth and falsifying documents. They have yet to enter a plea.
The bone is from a bowhead whale bone.
This Mississauga warehouse is full of art made of bone, much of which they can't get rid of because there's so few customers who can legally buy it.
The American clients who love the art and who wants to have the art but not able to import it to the country.
Even though the rules are viewed by some as an inconvenience, this conservationist says the laws are there for a reason.
The only way to assure that
the artisans will have something that they can carve is to protect the walrus and prevent it from becoming extinct.
Inuit artists say loosening the restrictions won't lead to an increase in animal deaths.
We hunt animals in a very respectful way. We hunt for what we need.
Kamangapik says he's going to continue carving bone, even if it's not easy to sell. Matthew Lapierre, CBC News, Montreal.
Now we go deeper into the story shaping our world. The trans star and co-creator of a cutting-edge CBC series is ending the show on a high. Bilal Baig tells us what they hope they achieved. But first, the winds of change blow in a controversy. This is the breakdown. Anger on the Atlantic over a green energy plan of giant proportions.
It was the fishermen were the last ones to even find out about it.
They say titanic towers like these could cut into prime fishing spots.
There should be a lot more research.
But there's a major push to proceed.
It's goodbye, fishermen. Hello, windmills.
So Canso, Nova Scotia needs a big money project like this, but many don't want to endanger the ancient trade that sustained it for generations. Tom Murphy breaks down the promise of the turbines and the fears of fishermen.
The race to get green is on. Dirty coal, fossil fuels are on the way out. By 2030, 80% of Nova Scotia's energy must come from renewable resources. It's a big ask. But ready to swoop in is Nova East Wind, an international joint venture. It wants to build massive offshore floating wind turbines, a Canadian first, giving the province a chance to maybe become a green energy powerhouse. For generations, Nova Scotians have looked to the sea for solutions. This time, there are headwinds.
What's going on, buddy? You got a faller? Yeah.
This is Canso in northeastern Nova Scotia, where Billy Bond and many before him have fished for more than 4 centuries.
He does. He's a nice looking fish.
Lobster, halibut, shrimp, snow crab, and yes, on this day, bluefin tuna.
Beautiful fish, man. That's the most beautiful thing that swims in the ocean.
Those huge wind turbines, the plan is to put about 25 of them, at least to start, in about 150 square kilometers of ocean where these men fish. So, for comparison, here's the Eiffel Tower, about 300 meters tall. The blades on the turbines, they'd be longer than football fields. And the whole structure actually floats while being anchored to the ocean floor. It would be a roughly $2 billion mega project. Now, Canso has seen other big industries promise big things for this region over the years, only to have them fade away.
There's nothing else here except for the fishery.
Back in port, Bond says this time he fears for his livelihood.
But I'll tell you, down here in this neck of the woods, they sure like trying to put us out of business.
So you got a lot of questions.
A lot of questions and no answers. Because you know why? Because it was the fishermen were the last ones to even find out about it.
So what worries you the most about the offshore wind turbines?
The fishing. The fishing grounds.
Some people will say it's a big ocean out there.
We got to go where the best fish is. Sure, there's lots of bottom out there. It's a big ocean. But it's not everywhere there's fish.
And this area here is the area that has been surveyed.
So they organize. Ginny Boudreau is executive director of the local fishing association. She's fighting for the whole process to be slowed.
Because 5 years ago, if I had put my finger as a fisherman, as a harvester, on the map as to where I'm fishing a particular species, or where I was fishing 5 years ago, my finger can't go on that spot today because I am over here or I'm over there. The ocean is warming. Fish species are moving. There should be a lot more research. There should be a lot more consultation. And I think that in order for that to happen, we need a set of regulations.
Are you surprised by how quickly this thing is picking up speed?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
We're working on the regulations, governments say. In the meantime, they push on, holding public information sessions like this one across the province.
I understand their concerns. I grew up in Geisler County.
Jerry Sheehan of Nova East Wind, himself the son of a fishing family near Canso, encourages the government to move faster, even if there are still some questions.
With respect to how much access they'll lose, today that's not known. And the reason it's not known is the regulations are being developed as far as what fishing activity could happen within a wind farm, for example. We're actually supportive of that. As long as the activity can happen safe and it won't harm the infrastructure, we don't want to do anything that's going to impact their livelihoods.
And Sheehan argues an offshore wind project of this scale could even spawn a whole new parallel industry here by capitalizing on the wind resource.
We've got one of the best wind regimes in the entire world. You're able to get a lot more power, in some cases 5 times more power out of one single unit compared to an onshore turbine. The thing that we really want to have is the first project. We believe that the first project will kickstart the industry, so I'm very confident that we can build offshore turbines here.
But of late, some offshore wind projects are having a hard time staying afloat. High interest rates and supply chain problems are driving up costs, killing projects.
Especially in the last couple of years.
Chris Nizraki of the University of Maine says the floating offshore wind industry is having growing pains.
And so some of the developers are actually backing out of agreements because they're not cost effective. Some of these companies are walking away because the costs have escalated and they're trying to renegotiate those prices. So for offshore wind, it's more expensive than land-based wind, that's for sure. The benefit is that you're not utilizing land resources.
Offshore wind projects have existed in Europe for decades. So could the two industries share the ocean off Nova Scotia?
As far as fisheries goes and those impacts, I think overall that the impact is fairly limited.
It's very busy, actually.
On the wharf, for Billy and others, their fear is anchored in their survival.
Oh, I think without a doubt it'll probably get bigger and bigger, and the fishermen will get less and less. It's goodbye fishermen, hello windmills.
You're not against green energy, though?
Absolutely not.
You just don't like it in the fishing grounds?
I actually have a car ordered with electric motors, so I'm definitely not against green energy.
What do you want?
Hey, if they're going to take my living from me, I want something, along with every other fisherman here.
Have they talked to you at all about compensation?
Absolutely not.
What do you think of that?
I think with the government, it's a curse word to them.
So for now, they fish. Exactly what's on the horizon, no one really knows.
So Tom, that's interesting. Is there no clear picture of what compensation may look like?
Well, there's no talk of government compensation, at least at this point, but there certainly is talk of more wind turbines. The Nova Scotia government has identified 2 bays, even closer to shore, as potential locations for wind farms. The fishermen, as you might imagine, are fighting that as well.
So it certainly seems that Atlantic Canada is really ideal for these sorts of wind farm projects.
Well, exactly. Experts say the wind is strong and it is consistent here. You put that together with deep waters close to shoreline communities that need electricity, well, they say this region is really almost perfect. And Adrian, in the winter, when Canada's demand for energy is greater, that's when the winds are the strongest.
Of course. All right, Tom Murphy in Halifax, thank you.
Thank you.
Now for a quick look at something we're bringing you tomorrow, but the reality of war, with help from a visitor to Gaza who now finds himself staying put in the face of fear.
We've received news that everyone in Gaza is to depart Gaza by 5 p.m.
The view of a man who made a most extraordinary decision. British national Mohammed Galayani, an air quality scientist from Manchester. He was in Gaza on vacation when the war started, was permitted to leave through Rafah weeks ago, but he didn't go. Compelled, he says, to stay for a few weeks now, he's been documenting daily life in Gaza for us.
Hi, this is Mohammed Galayani. It's November 2nd.
The big and little decisions that can sometimes make the difference between life and death.
This is the Khan Yunis High Street. I don't even know what happened here.
Days and Nights in Gaza, tomorrow on The National. Coming up, the award-winning CBC series Sort of is coming to an end after 3 seasons.
I mean, part of what I'm curious about is what happens after Sort of.
Jackson Weaver sits down with the show's star and co-creator. That is next on The Breakdown.
Flawed and they make mistakes.
But now that it's ending, what will its legacy be?
What are the shows that get made? Who gets to be heard?
Our entertainment reporter, Jackson Weaver, nice to see you. I know you've been following Bilal Baig's career for quite some time. I'm curious, successful show, critical acclaim, why end after 3 years?
I mean, that's a great question. Many people have been asking that. Baig could have ridden the high of being the co-creator and the star of the show easily, but they felt that the show had naturally reached its conclusion, and they also are very shy and do not love the spotlight. I actually got to speak with them about a year ago. Back then, they weren't able to recognize the impact that the show had had, and I was very curious to see whether that had changed this time around.
Pretty much every important phase in your life, you needed to be drag kicking and screaming.
I feel so much pressure to, like, not do the thing that I know will make everything.
Does it feel more real, what you've accomplished, what Sort of has accomplished?
I think it has to, like, end and years kind of have to, just in that, the weight of it, the impact of it, I feel like I'm living it for sure. I feel like I get really wonderful messages kind of all the time, but until, I mean, part of what I'm curious about is what happens after Sort of, like, what are the shows that get made, who gets to be heard, you know, I'm kind of looking out for that as well.
You know, we talk so much about representation. I don't think that there have been many or any shows that have the same type of scope as Sort of. What do you think, what do you hope that Sort of will have achieved by the time it ends?
Well, I think, I love the tone of the show. I think if there's a little bit more space for shows to be a little bit weird in their tone or not, you know, so clearly boxed, like, I think that's kind of great for the world. And I think that, yeah, the kinds of characters we were able to represent on the show and give nice, juicy arcs to. I think about actors in this city, country who are so deserving of really interesting, meaty stuff. So yeah, I just hope that, you know, I just kind of want to be done with conversations around, we need chances. Like, I feel like we've proven ourselves over and over again that we can, like, totally tell stories.
How have you been doing, Savvy?
I feel kind of corny saying this, but it's seriously fulfilling having you ask me that.
It's just asking.
I wasn't making fun of you. It's just feels nice is what I was trying to say.
There are parallels between you and Sebi. What has your connection like with that character been like over time? Where is it now? What do you feel about Sebi?
You know, I've been asked, like, has Sebi taught you anything, or what are you kind of taking from the character? And I think it's been such a pleasure, like, truly to play somebody who's figuring a lot of stuff out. I feel like personally kind of grew up definitely faster than Sebi did, and I had career stuff kind of figured out really early on, and so it was nice to play someone searching, you know, and someone so flawed. I'm flawed too, obviously. I'm not perfect, but so deliciously flawed, and they make mistakes, and they hurt people, and they love people, and yeah, it's it meant a lot to play this character and to tell this story.
What can I do for you right now? Anything you want.
Can we go to the cinema?
We can't ignore how important and impactful it is to see a non-binary person in a main role in a story that so artfully treats their journey. What do you hope to see in the future when we talk about other shows taking its place or other leadership?
I don't know, like I think about you know, the mentorship program we ran for trans and non-binary crew members on our set for the last 2 years, and I'm like, you know, so much can be achieved if trans people are given the respect and dignity that they deserve, and you know, I want that. I want that for all of us, forever, all the time. So hopefully we can be an example where, like, if you treat, I mean, it's so basic, but if you treat people well, it gets that quality, that feeling gets embedded in the project, and it's a nice, lovely thing to be really proud of. Yeah, I just hope that more chances are taken, and when those chances are taken, people are actually wondering, well, how can we support this person to do their job to the best of their ability.
So, Jackson, on the show, the character Sabi has trouble explaining to their family who they really are. Is it your sense that there are parallels with Bilal's family?
I mean, I've spoken with them about specifically this in multiple interviews. They've twice admitted to me that their relationship with their parents was in the past distant, still distant now. Now, when they were making the show, they wanted to have a hopeful, aspirational kind of interpretation of that relationship, even if it's not exactly like that in real life. But they did say that things are getting better, and they do hope that with some patience, some time, some grace, that their real life can reflect the ending of the show.
All right, well, better is good.
Thank you.
All right, Jackson, thanks very much.
Thanks.
Coming up, a rare glimpse of a royal rumble in the ocean.
I was like, oh my God.
An octopus can fight, and it's got 8 arms to fight with.
Sea lion versus octopus. Who won the submarine skirmish? Next in our moment. Now, granted, it's a little tough to see exactly what's going on here, but if you look closely, that is a sea lion, believe it or not, flinging an octopus through the air. So the interspecies battle took place just south of Nanaimo last week when a swimmer noticed what looked like an animal in distress. The showdown in the shallows is our moment.
It's the ultimate battle between predator and prey.
So Thursday afternoon, I went down to the beach. I saw the sea lion it seemed distressed. I thought maybe it was tangled, and I zoomed in, and I was very surprised to see that it was an octopus. I was like, oh my God. I was actually rooting for the octopus just because they're elusive, but yeah, my jaw dropped.
It's fairly rare that people get to see this happening, even though it happens every single day. There's another video from, I think, New Zealand. It's a fur seal, and it's actually flinging an octopus, and it throws it into a kayaker's face. An octopus can fight, and it's got 8 arms to fight with. You can imagine if the sea lion tried to swallow it whole, the sea lion could be suffocated. They don't have good cutting teeth, and so they have to grab on, puncture, and then fling it to break it up. So it has to come up into the air to do it.
Unfortunately, I think the sea lion came out ahead, but not after a tough fight.
I also rooting for the octopus. Interesting story about the sea lions. That's the Stellar sea lion. They were endangered about a decade ago. They came off the U.S. endangered list because clearly they're eating pretty well. For all of us here at The National, thank you for being with us. You can watch anywhere, anytime on the free CBC News app. Subscribe to The National's YouTube channel. I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Take care.